Hello all, my name is Miss Shubhangi Patil, working as Assistant Professor at DYPIMR Akurdi at Chemical Engineering Department. I have participated in FDP on Environment and Sustainability, and my topic is Carbon Footprint from Thermal Power Station. In first week, I have prepared one short video about environment sustainability through clean coal technology. In video, I have explained how coal can be processed effectively to reduce air pollution. In second video, I have explained different methods to upgrade coal before combustion. So these two videos I have prepared, and outcomes of these two videos are, so after learning through the video, the student will be able to understand the different types and application of coal, emission from coal combustion, what are the different gases which are results from the coal combustion, then technologies which is used to reduce this greenhouse gas emission, and last one is the norms of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So these are the outcomes of these videos. The next, now as we know, the coal plays a major role in delivering electricity across the globe and is the fundamental in the creation of steel and concrete and provides energy for transportation. Coal mining is also a critical contribution to many economies, especially in developing nations where mining's contributions enable them to grow stronger and tackle the dual challenges of poverty and development. Also, the coal it has a significant role to play in building modern and sustainable societies. Coal plays a vital role in meeting global energy needs and is critical to infrastructure development also. So if you see, 38% of world's electricity and 71% of the world's steel is produced using coal. But there is a in the coal combustion, the problem is greenhouse gas emission. So reducing greenhouse gas emission from the power sector is a major challenge, not just for India but throughout the world. Global climate change has receiving significant and increasing attention in recent years, both because of its potential impact on humans, ecosystem, and economies, and because of the scale of effort needed to mitigate this problem. The coal-fired power generation is considered as one of the major sources of environmental pollution in India. Of the total environmental pollution in 2016, power sector reportedly accounted for 51% of SO2, 43% of carbon dioxide, 20% of oxide of nitrogen, and 7% of particulate matter emission. So these are the percentage of this SO2, CO2, NOx, and particulate matter which result from the coal combustion. Then Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change notified Environment Protection Amendment Rule 2015 for thermal power station. So there are norms which are uh, these are environmental norms for this particular thermal power station. So if you see in this table, these norms are given. So first column, it gives the parameter, emission parameter. So first is particulate matter, second SO2, NOx, mercury and water. So if you see, after that there are three columns. So TPS means thermal power station which are installed. So the thermal power stations which are installed before 31st December 2013, the norms for the production of this particulate matter is it should be 100 milligram per normal meter cube. For SOx, it is having 600 milligram per nm cube. NOx 600 milligram per nm cube. For mercury, it is for small scale, means for 500 megawatt units, the mercury emission should be nil, and for capacity, for thermal power station capacity greater than 500 megawatt, the mercury emission limit should be 0.03 milligram per nm cube. Then next, the TPS which are installed after 31st December 2003 to 31st December 2016. The second column gives the limits for this all these. The next one is the thermal power stations which are installed after 1st January 2017. The particulate matter should this which should get emitted from this power station should not exceed from 30 milligram per nm cube. SOx is having limitation 100 milligram per nm cube. NOx is having 100 milligram per nm cube, and mercury is having 0.03 milligram per nm cube. So these are the limitations or norms which all thermal power stations should follow. Then regarding last row, it tells regarding the water. What are the requirements regarding the water? So these are the norms by MOEFCC. And next, emission control system and the current status of implementation. So as per these norms, how these emissions are controlled. So emission control system, it there are different methods. So this emission control system can act in the form of flue gas desulfurization, FGD. So for a typical coal-fired power station, flue gas desulfurization may remove more than 90% of the SO2 in the flue gases. The next is selective catalytic reduction or selective non-catalytic reduction need to be implemented, and another measures such as combustion modification and retrofit of electrostatic precipitator are required to be taken whenever necessary for control of SOx, NOx, particulate matter and mercury within the limit specified by MOEFCC. Now this selective catalytic reduction of for this NOx from either stationary or mobile combustion source and chemical processes, it is proven that the catalytic technology is unique in its ability to provide high NOx reduction across the broad range of conditions. Also, the most important consideration in electrostatic precipitator is for coal-fired boiler application is to maintain and increase dust collecting performance of high resistive dust. So like this things are implemented for maintaining these norms. Then how to calculate the CO2 emission, calculation of CO2 emission from this thermal power station. So CO2 emission of thermal power station is calculated by using the formula. So this formula is used. So if you see, it is absolute CO2 which is emitted from the stations. It is calculated by using summation of fuel concentration into gross calorific value into emission factor into oxidation factor. Okay, so if you see in this formula is given where the terms which are involved in this formula, its meaning is given. So first, ABS CO2. So it is absolute CO2 emission of the station in given fiscal year Y. Then fuel CON concentration, amount of fuel. It is amount of fuel of type I consumed in fiscal year Y. Okay, so this can be applicable for any fuel other than coal also. Then GCV, it is gross calorific value of fuel in the fiscal year Y. EF and oxidation, OXD, OXID. These are the emission factor of fuel and oxidation factor of fuel. So these values are already reported in the literature, which we can get. So like this we can calculate CO2 emission. Thank you.